Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. This is ML Miller, and today we're going to do a review of the French film that's new on Netflix called Get In. It's also known as Fury in French, which I think would be a much better title. The director is Oliver Abou. I believe I said that right. I possibly didn't. And it stars Adama Niane, Stephanie Calliard, and Paul Hamey. Though it seems to have been titled as a cheap way of getting one's attention given its similarity to a certain Jordan Peele film, Get In is actually a strong story in the vein of Peckinpah's Straw Dogs. It's a story about a meek man who must find it in him to stand up to a world that's taking advantage of him. Paul, played by Adama Niane, is a school teacher, a husband, a father, and a homeowner. On the surface, it looks like he has it all. But dig just a little bit deeper and you find out his students don't respect him, his wife cheated on him, and now someone has moved into his home and refuses to leave. After his attempts to get the squatters to leave through legal means fail, Paul and his wife Chloe, Stephanie Calliard, have to stay in a mobile home park until the legal matters are taken care of. The park happens to be run by an old flame of Chloe's named Mickey, Paul Hamey, and he is the opposite of Paul in every way. Confident, strong, virile, aggressive. Mickey and his drunken buddies take Paul under their wing and attempt to make a man out of him, attempting to coerce Paul to use force to take back his home from the squatters. Though it's against his nature, Paul is slowly giving in to his more aggro side, and when no other means seem to be working in his favor, he begins to think blunt force is the only way this matter is going to be resolved. In Get In, the fact that Paul is a black man factors very much into the narrative, as he is confronted by a black student who calls him an Oreo for having a meek demeanor. Later, Paul himself has a monologue about expectations he has put on him as a black man attempting to fit into societal expectations. I found this to be the most resonant part of this film. When Paul begins to accept Mickey and his violent ways, he sees them attacking a black man, and the identity crisis couldn't be more world-shattering for Paul as he realizes which side he has chosen in this battle. By the way, Mickey and his friends are white, as is his wife. That factors in pretty importantly as the story goes on. These are themes that maybe Jordan Peele could get away with in this modern age, but very few directors would dare look into it because of backlash that might occur from all sides if it were being released in America. But the story is not politicized at all here. Paul is not a perfect person. He's not completely likable. This isn't a Hollywood film about a Hollywood struggle. All the luster is worn off, and it feels all the more real because of it. That's the main reason I like watching foreign films, as they tend to delve into themes that are controversial, complex, and might be seen as downright threatening to the fragile American way of life we live. Get In is Paul's journey trying to understand what it is to be a man. He exemplifies one extreme as a small, mild-mannered pushover, while Mickey represents the extreme opposite. As he attempts to be like Mickey, Paul's quest is to find that middle ground that is acceptable society, yet still reinforces his own confidence in the qualities he must have in order to fit the role he wants. Sure, there have been plenty of men's issues dissected in past films, but the current trend seems to shy away from that kind of depthy gaze into the abyss. In the end, which wraps up things in about the most French way possible, and you'll understand that if you actually go and watch Get In, Paul finds that middle ground, but he wouldn't have arrived there if not for running into Mickey. In many ways, this reflects the path Ed Norton's character in Fight Club takes as he identifies with, conflicts with, and eventually sort of accepts Tyler Durden in order to become some kind of masculine whole. Gender and racial studies aside, Get In is an electric, yet intricately paced film. Some might find the lead-up to the explosive finale to be tedious, but seeing Paul stumble and bumble his way through his life was absolutely riveting to me. As a man in the modern world, it is necessary to question how far we will go when tapping into the animal within us. Get In is a wonderful example of that struggle, and actor Adama Niane is fascinating to watch go through this personal crisis. Paul Hamey is equally fascinating to watch, as he is as much a force of nature as Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden is in Fight Club. In the middle is Stephanie Calliard, who is not so simple herself, as she struggles to love a man who she has emasculated and understand the tightrope he is walking between aggressive male and rule-following working man. Add in the racial elements of societal expectations of the black man from both white and black perspectives, and you have a story that is ripe with thematic heft and conversation starters for those who aren't afraid to talk about these types of issues. The finale of Get In is violent and traumatic. The level of violence that eventually comes into play is disturbing as it contrasts the level-headed and buttoned-down life Paul once led. But that's where the power of Get In resides. The film is one man's struggle to handle the rage building within. It's a story that has been told in bold strokes with stories like The Hulk, The Wolf Man, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but handled more intimately in modern films such as Fight Club, Straw Dogs, Falling Down, and now Get In. Get In is not your typical mainstream horror movie. It's heady, it's intellectual, it's art house. It's not going to be for everybody, and I understand that. Not all horror is for everybody. Some people just want to go to horror just to have a good time and forget about it as soon as they leave the movie. But if you like horror to be more on the elevated, intellectual side, that'll make you think about yourself and the roles our world forms around us, this is the movie that you'll want to check out. I don't know if this is the right time for this kind of film, as some may not be able to or want to ask themselves the questions Get In raises right now. And that's fine. But those who do check out Get In are in for an introspective, disturbing, and socially relevant journey into the soul of a modern man. It's deeper stuff than Jason Voorhees stabs the next camper, but there's room for this kind of elevated horror in the genre as well. I know I butchered all of the French names in this one, and I apologize for that, but still, this is a very good movie and worth seeking out if you're looking for that kind of elevated horror. That's going to be it for this installment of ML Miller Frights. Be sure to give it a like, a share, and a subscribe at the bottom, and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications to let you know when my next video is going to be showing up. And put your comments down below. I'd love to start up a dialogue with you guys down there. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time on ML Miller Frights. Take care, and thanks for listening. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality.